Hello everyone. Back in December, UKRI published an explainer for how our budget will move between April 2026 all the way out to March 2030, at least at a high level. In this video, I hope that I'll explain in a bit more detail about how the money transitions, but also explain how curiosity research fits into that. Overall, the really good news is that our budget is growing over that 4-year period. This is a great vote of confidence from the government for the impact that research and innovation makes to people's lives. It's a privileged position at a time when public finances are constrained for sure, and so we have to make the most of this opportunity. By the end of that period, by 2030, we will be spending about 10 billion a year on research and innovation. We are a public body, of course. We're entrusted with public money. We are here to make a difference to the public, to maximise the impact on their lives and their livelihoods. We also have a clear direction from government that they want us to do fewer things, but do them as well as we possibly can. So we've reformulated our mission to advance knowledge, to improve lives and to drive growth. Those 3 legs are all equally important and of course actually symbiotic when we get them right. And I was really keen that you can see direct connection from that mission to our money, from our strategy to our spending. So you can see how the money flows. So we have reshaped our budget to have 3 buckets, the first of which is around curiosity-driven research. It's how we advance knowledge, where we'll invest in the most transformative ideas, the most novel ideas that can really advance how we understand the world. The second is around societal priorities that make a difference to people's lives. So how we use research and innovation to improve the lives of the British public. And then the third is driving growth, how we help companies to start, to scale, and ultimately to stay in the UK. Now, you know, and we know, that it's not easy to compartmentalise research and innovation spending into those 3 buckets. Actually, the beauty is that most of the interventions we make have a role to play in all 3. But we want to keep things really simple. So we've chosen to put our funding schemes into the bucket where they make the biggest impact. Let me give you a couple of examples. The Laboratory for Molecular Biology, we've put into bucket 1, into curiosity-driven research. Now, it for sure also does some applied research and they also spin out companies. So you could say it applies in buckets 2 and 3. But the vast majority of their work is focused on advancing knowledge. Conversely, at the other end of the scale, the catapults, we've put wholly into bucket 3 about helping companies to start and to scale. In the catapults, they also do some discovery research. They do some applied research, but primarily they're about helping companies to scale. So that's how we've partitioned things. Now let me give you an example about how the flows of money are changing. Previously, when we were asked, how much do you invest in, let's say, AI? It would have been at least 13 different sources of money that were contributing to one programme in AI. So all of our thematic councils and then STFC, Innovate UK, quality research from Research England, and also the Higher Education Innovation Fund from Research England, but then also other investment in skills and in international programmes and in infrastructure. And you can see we've now got 13 different sources of money for one programme. And that means that there's quite a lot of entropy in the system. Whenever we want to make a decision, you have to, first of all, get lots of different budget holders together. So it made our decision making quite slow. It also risks duplicative work or even inadvertent gaps. Under the new system, the budget for applied research and for helping companies to scale, for all things related to AI, will be in one place. So rather than splitting by discipline, we're putting budgets together based on the outcomes that we're trying to achieve. We'll end up with 5 sources of money. But having the primacy of one clear programme means that even the programmes that we have in skills and in infrastructure and the money that flows through QR and HIFE to universities, even in those cases, they can line behind more clearly the one coherent programme that we have overall. So, whilst our budget is increasing, it increases by about 8%, we hope that by bringing this clarity about purpose and about accountability and direction, we will make a much bigger impact than an 8% increase in our budget. Now, I acknowledge that lots of you have been requesting for us to be able to map from the way the world used to look to the way the world will look under these 3 buckets. So we've developed a schematic, which will also be available on our website in more detail, which shows how this high-level mapping works. I hope you can see here that the new approach is much simpler. Rather than lots and lots of jam jars, we have 3 buckets. You can also see a few other things. Let me point out a few. The applicant-led research budget, which maps to responsive mode applications as you used to know them. In the current financial year, responsive mode was 737 million. In the next financial year, it will rise to 815 million, and then it rises every year thereafter. So curiosity-driven research is protected in scale and in scope. And within curiosity-driven research, we will invest in the best ideas in any area of any field, the most novel, most transformative things. Now, the changes that we're talking about here are quite substantial. UKRI will feel different. We're not going to be just a funding agency distributing money. We will care even more about the outcomes that are delivered from that money. So we will work with you. I want us to be more partners, an investor who works with you along the journey. We want to concertedly maximise the returns from this investment to improve people's lives and improve their livelihoods. We also recognise that universities and institutes themselves are in a period of change. It would not be right for us to insulate ourselves from that change. So we also, just like you, we feel the imperative to improve our effectiveness and to be better and more efficient at what we're doing. I hope you take a few take-home messages from this. Firstly, the budget for research and innovation is at a record high. Government are investing more now than they ever have in the past. Secondly, UKRI is changing the way that we deliver our programmes to maximise the impact in 3 ways: advancing knowledge, improving lives, and driving growth. And on the first of those, on advancing knowledge, the opportunity for work in curiosity-driven research is stronger now than it ever has been before. The budget is protected and we retain just as broad a scope as we ever have. I hope you found that really useful. As I say, there will be more information on our website. Thank you.